All right, back here at Harbor Guard Central. So one of the things that is really fantastic about Harbor Guard is our ability to be the last coat on teak, so that you just don't have all the maintenance of sanding it and applying more coats and doing all this kind of stuff on an annual basis, monthly basis, or what have you. So on the company vessel, the Good Game, which is a 75 North Star, we spend quite a lot of time in the water and use the excuse of applying Harbor Guard all over the boat to go out and test it. And one of the things we do is we pound the cap rail pretty hard with drop sinkers or hooks or gaffs or taking fish over the rail and releasing them. So it gets beat up pretty good. And we're at about 3 years on that. There's a third summer for the product that we put on there. Harbor Guard finishes really well over the last coat of urethane. And on the Good Game, we really like the Bristol traditional product. It's an 8-coat product. One of the things that's really nice about it is you can put on 3 coats a day if you're pretty diligent, because you can wet on wet, and then you let it dry and do a little sanding, and you can put another 3 coats. So you can get to 8 coats in a good 2-3 day period, a final 24-hour dry, and you get this nice finish here of the Bristol product, okay? So that's one we really like. Another one that works really well is the all-wood product. One of the unique things about all-wood versus a catalyst like in Bristol is it has a primer, and the primer coat really soaks into the wood. And one of the things you can sort of cheat the system with is hot coat one matte or gloss on the primer at about 4 hours while it's still a little tacky, and it'll get a really good bond before you do all your other coats. These guys recommend up to 7 or 8 coats. We've done as few as 4 and then coated with Harbor Guard, and it seems to hold up just as well, but that's kind of a personal preference. Last but not least is Epiphanes. It's the lowest cost. It's a varnish. It's a good product. A lot of people like it, but it stays tacky for a longer period of time, and you can't do multiple coats. But if cost is an objective, you can finish with Epiphanes if that's what you're used to. The most expensive would be the all-wood, and the middle cost would be the Bristol product. But all 3 of these, with the wonderful store we have in San Diego at the San Diego Marine Exchange, these are their top 3 sellers. So however you finish your wood and however you want your wood to look, that's really a personal preference. Once that's done, it's really quite simple. The wood's totally hard. We get a microfiber sponge. We do the same thing by putting it into a tray and wringing it out, and then just coming at it nice and smooth on all sides, and you get this amazing hard finish to the product. Now, microfiber sponges and our pads will not bubble and leave a bubble trail. If you're used to using a foam brush or something like a bristle brush, it will produce small micro bubbles, and sometimes those won't evaporate out, and you'll say, gee, how did that happen? So the wiping method with a pad works a ton better. But at the end of the day, you get this beautiful finish any which way that you do it. In a product like this that has a caulk bead in the middle, we do all the finishing before we put the caulk bead in. That way you won't get any water or creep into the caulk bead, which then will get displaced over time. You'll think it was a failure on Harbor Guard's part, but really we're just not going to stick to a silicone-based caulk bead. This is a good example here of one that is afterwards. It's perfectly sealed, and the caulk bead's doing what it does, keeping out moisture from the joints. So that's what we do with teak. It's amazingly simple, and once you do it, you're gonna find that you just take that off your maintenance item. Just wash it with soap and water, dry it off, let it be, release as many fish over it as you want. And if you wanna do some touch-ups, it's just a little light sand, and you can come back over it with Harbor Guard, and away you go. So let me know how you're doing. Give us a jingle, send us some photos. That's Teak. Talk to you later.